Hi there, it's Haley Bowen from Marketing on Purpose, and I am here live with Terry Ann Richards for
Hey.
Marketing Tip Monday. So, could I get more excited? Okay, so it looks like we have a little delay on the live, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to wait for some people to jump on. And as people are jumping on, Terry Ann and I are just going to shoot the shit. Why not?
I like that. I like that. I like that we can swear on your show.
I know. I have medium swear words. So I have two kids.
Medium? Did you just say medium swear words?
Yeah.
So there's like
shit is okay.
Okay, shit is okay.
And ass sometimes.
I like how you had to pause, like ass.
One of my friends watches this with her kids. So she gets in bed and her kids all gather around and she said, "I just love it when I swear." Like they were like, "Oh, that's my friend who swears." I really don't say anything like that.
Oh God. Yeah, no, kids swear. Okay, guys, kids swear. Kids hear swear words at school. So, teach them here first, folks.
Yeah, teach them the ones that are okay.
That are like acceptable, and teach them to never use them in vulgar manners. They're like, I use swear words as passion words. They're like for emphasis only.
Yes,
That's it.
Okay, so we were 2 minutes in, so let's get started a little bit because I see there's some people on. So if you're on, give us a little wave so we know you're there. And let's start by introducing Terry Ann. So Terry Ann is a personal development coach for female entrepreneurs. Not only does she do that, but she does a whole bunch of other things too, and she's such an impressive person. So she's an author, she's a speaker, she is the founder and chair of the Ladies of Influence, which is a networking community for ladies, and I'll let you share with that. And she's also the founder of the Be the Balance Retreat.
Yes.
Which I attended last year and heard your story. I was completely mesmerized by your story and where you've come from and how you've grown. So really exciting. But I met you face to face at the Ladies of Influence networking event, the very first one. And I'd like to share a little story about that. But before I do you have any more things you'd like to say as your intro?
You know what? I'd like to say that I have a street credentialed MBA, and I've had 7 companies since the age of 18 years old. I love business. I love women in business, and I love everything empowerment. So I'm really excited to be on the show. I'm excited that we're talking about this topic specifically because this is legitimately how I've grown myself and my businesses over the last 17 years. So thank you.
That's awesome. You're the perfect person to help with this. So, so my networking experience. So I know networking is really hard for a lot of people. And I am no exception to this. I can remember going to conferences and there would be a break. So I would pretend to have a really important phone call and go hide in the corner and talk on the phone. Like that's how bad I was.
Oh.
Yeah. And I don't mind talking to people. Like I'm not a shy person. It's just in those situations. And I think for me, and I don't know if anybody who's watching can agree with this, but for me, it was mostly because I don't like to sell. And I felt like when I was at those conferences, I was always there representing my company. And I felt like I had to talk about it and sell to people. And I'm just not comfortable with that. So I would legit pretend to be on the phone, or I had to go to the bathroom, or I had to, like, some emergency. Like, what a figure.
But so many people do that.
Yes.
So many people do that. And it doesn't have to be that way, but it's that the act of selling or small talk both infuriates and scares people, right?
Yeah. small talk. I'm not much for small talk.
Yeah. The art of small talk is super powerful and can get you so far in your networking endeavors or just going out and just kind of shooting the shit with folks. But it is an art. Small talk is not for the faint of heart because it's kind of cheesy at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now I have my own business. I find like I don't have that pressure on myself to have to sell. If I go to a networking event, I'm going there because I actually want to meet people.
Yes.
And it's different versus when I was employed by other companies.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's jump in. And I want to know your best tip for somebody who is going to a networking event, who is like me, wants to hide behind their phone, pretend they're busy. What's some tips to kind of get them out of their shell so that they can get that confidence to actually network?
So I think it's sort of like if you look at networking as, the way you would do like a strategic marketing plan or like a tactical marketing plan, like you need some very specific goals to follow. You need a path to follow, right? And so anytime that I go to a networking function, there's a few things that I do, and sometimes you have that opportunity. So one of the things I do is I will search out the guest list. So I'll creep people. And because there's two reasons that people network. It's to get out of your four walls, if you will. Especially a lot of us as solo entrepreneurs and small businesses, we're not really working with big teams, so we're alone most of the time, and it's not all that fun. Like you get to do lives like this and you get to do Skype calls with clients, but you're not like hanging out with the team like some larger organizations. And you would remember that because you used to work at a large organization. So you're missing that. So that would be one reason why you network. And then the other reason you network is obviously you want to grow your business. And no, you're not going in there from, purely a selfish intent. But at the end of the day, you're not going out just to hang out. You want to grow your business, hopefully through these networks. So with that in mind, when I am going to any function, even if it's not a networking function, because I look at like workshops or conferences or any event that I go to as a networking function. So basically like anything where there's more than me at it is a networking function because I'm going to meet someone that I've never met before. Or maybe I've met them through Facebook, because that's kind of you and I, we knew each other through Facebook and then we finally met face to face, right? So I search the guest list and then I start figuring out like who are some people that I would like to get to know. And it's not always because I want to sell them something. It's sometimes because I'm really intrigued based on what their business is, or, I'm just intrigued on like what makes them tick. I want to learn more about them. So I figure out who my three people are. So if there's a guest list, I figure out who my three people are.
Okay.
If there's no guest list, I show up and I find three people. And I keep it to three because everything else is overwhelming. A lot of times people go to a networking function and they think, I have to go and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And that's hard. You will not be memorable in any way because if you need to work a room of 30 or 40 people in, 45 minutes, you're not going to say anything that's I guess, sassy or exciting enough that they'll even remember who you are or what you do. Mm-hmm. And so I start with just talking to three people and I give them 10 minutes of my time. And I ask all the questions. I usually try to own the conversation in such a way that I'm basically interviewing them. I'm asking them, what do they do? Why do they do it? What drove them to, take that course or do this business, what excites them? Tell me about your family. Like I will ask them, and I have like a list of 10 questions that I usually jump to, and I can share those with your crowd if you want.
That would be great.
And I just let them talk. I let them talk about themselves. And then I kind of have that feeling that I'm at like that 9-10 minute mark. And I'm like, you know what? It's been so great chatting with you. I see somebody over there that I need to go talk to.
Yes. Because how do you get out of it?
That's what I do. I just,
Okay.
I kind of do like a little like wave over there. Hopefully, if I ever do this to any of you.
Now we know your strategy.
You know my strategy. And then I ask them if they have a business card. And I shake their hand, and sometimes you even hug them if it was that great of a conversation.
Yeah.
And I walk away. And then within 48 hours, I get very tactical. So I send them an email or a Facebook message, and I say, it was really great seeing you, meeting you at X and X event. I really loved it when you said blah, so I need to have my memory on that night. Okay. I'd love to take you out for a cup of coffee and learn more about what you do and more about your business, and maybe we'll partner in the future. I always like to use the word partner because partner means so many things, right? I might be your client, you might be mine, we might do an event together. There's so many opportunities for small businesses to join forces.
Yeah. And it's helping, right? That's what I always say. You don't sell anymore, you help.
You help
online. Like I do a lot of Facebook and social media coaching. And that's what I say. You're not selling. You are helping.
You are. And there's so many opportunities for you to help and be helped. And I mean, I legitimately can say I attribute the number one, attribution. I don't even know if that's a word, to this, to where I am in business is networking. It's like I would not have gotten where I've gotten today if I didn't get out of my shell and just network the hell out of St. John and, Moncton and Fredericton and just get my face and my name out there.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm kind of the same. So I always talk about Facebook being a huge strategy for me. And most of my business last year came from Facebook. But some of it came from networking. I'm not even very good at networking, and some of it did come from networking.
Oh, that's awesome.
The one thing that I'm sorry, I know that my microphone is echoey. I had somebody comment, so I'm going to try not to talk too much because it's going to be very annoying for everybody watching. But I'm scared if I unplug, it's actually not even going to have any noise. So I apologize for that. But one of the things that I love that you said was 3 people.
Yes.
And when I met you at the networking event, I was talking to people, and you came up, and we were chatting, and you had given me some of these tips, which is why I was like, oh my God, I need to partner with you and ask her on my show. Because you had 3 people, and I always thought that I was a bad networker because I always only talk to 1, 2, or 3 people because I get into conversations and I'm interested, right? And then I don't talk to 3/4 of the room or more. And so I always thought that was bad, but you're saying that's okay.
That is exactly how you make impact, right? I think the worst thing you could do is go hang out with your friends. That's the worst you can do. And that's what most people do, right? They go out and it becomes more of a social, function. And not that social functions are bad, but if if the prime result that you're looking for is growth as a person and in business, you need to be meeting new people on a regular basis, because every time you have a conversation with a new person, it sparks something in you, right? There's something you will learn, some nugget that they will say that will kind of go back into your subconscious, and you'll kind of keep it there. And then 6 months down the road, a year down the road, all of a sudden you'll do something and it will be stemmed from that conversation previously. And so I never say no to a good conversation, because you just never know what will come of it. I've been given opportunities to buy businesses and be, partner in on organizations that little old Terry Ann never should have been able to get in on. And the only reason I got those opportunities was because I was constantly out there networking, that I became sort of a face in my field in business. And so when people had an idea of, a job that they needed filled or a partnership they needed, they thought of me, and they only thought of me because of my networking. It wasn't any marketing that I was doing. It was me marketing myself personally out there.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think there's so much power in networking, but for me, it's a really uncomfortable thing, but I'm starting to kind of get out of my shell with it.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions for Terry Ann with respect to networking? While you're typing them in, I actually do have a question for her. So Terry Ann is a personal development coach as well. So from that end of it, is there anything that we can do while we're preparing to go into an uncomfortable situation like that for some people it's uncomfortable. For some people they're like thriving on it, right?
Yeah.
But if you feel uncomfortable with it, is there anything you can do to kind of mentally prepare yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, they sound silly, but they're actually quite similar to some of the things that you would do prior to getting up on stage, right? So there's the power pose. So like you literally stand up like, woo, and you're like, you have to be standing and you kind of have your legs like, hip width apart, and you kind of stand there and you give yourself good three breaths, like real big, deep breaths. And so there's something, I don't really understand it, but there's something energetically that happens. It's a very powerful pose. I don't know if it's like Superman pose, maybe. I don't know. And so, in my coach training and in my speaking training, that was something that they taught us very early on. And what I've also told people is to do it before networking, because, getting up on stage is scary. Going like one-to-one with someone, if you're somebody who is afraid of small talk or just not even sure what to say, feeling confident is like number one. You need to feel confident. I think number two is you do need to remember that you don't have to have all the answers. And if you talk less, then it's really easy just to ask. Like, if you just stay curious and you're always curious on what makes people tick, what they're passionate about, where do they see themselves in 10 years? Like, we as humans love to talk about our passions and what excites us and our purpose. And so if you can get somebody talking about that instead of like, hi, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I'm an accountant. Oh, okay. Like, that's boring. But it's like, like, oh my gosh, you're an accountant. Like, what made you choose that field? Like, what are you passionate about when it comes? And I mean, you have to have a little bit of excitement if you can. Yeah. But really, it's you have to walk in with confidence. You need to fake it until you make it. And you need to stay curious. And with practice, comes almost perfection, right? Like, you just need to get out there on a regular basis and, go with a posse. So have your team, but like spread out. It's almost like you're on a mission. It's like a CIA mission. And each of us are going to meet 3 people. And then we're going to do a little powwow at the end. And I'm going to tell you about the 3 people I met. And now we're all so curious that we've put our tentacles out there and we've met these cool people in our neighborhoods, in our communities that maybe we will partner with someday. And we're excited because they've excited us through their passions. And if you can do it from that angle, not a selling angle or I need them to know more about what I do in my business. Like, it is rare at a function that people will learn anything about what I do. Most people are like, what the hell does Terry Ann do? Right? Like, because I don't talk about myself on a regular basis in a face-to-face meeting. I like to talk about you. I want to know everything about you, because if I know more about you, I can figure out where the touch points are of how we should connect in the future.
I love that. I love that. Stay curious.
Yeah.
I love that. So going to the next event, everybody, we are going to just be curious. We're just going to meet 3 people. We're going to find out lots of good stuff about them and be curious about what they say and be excited to be there.
Absolutely. Right? It's like,
we're going to do this.
Power pose.
Power pose. That's awesome. Okay, I got to take a look at some of the comments here and just see if there's anything we have to talk about. So, Whitney asked, what about for people who may be more introverted?
So introversion and extroversion is a very, it's an interesting concept, right? Because sometimes we actually get it a little mixed up. So introversion really just means, it doesn't mean you're shy. Introversion really means that you don't get your energy from a crowd. So I'm actually an introvert. Funny enough, nobody would ever think that. So I'm like higher on the introversion. So I'm like, I could skip over to extroversion if I had to, but I do not get my energy from a crowd. I go to an event and I go home and I'm like sucking my thumb on the couch. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody.
I don't want to see that.
So I think it really comes down to whether or not you're someone who, is shy or not shy, really. And I think that just comes down to confidence. And I really, truly believe that if you just stay at that center, Because I think if you put the pressure on yourself, like I said earlier, that you are selling, or, you need to have your pitch even perfect, or you need to be able to like explain what you do, which is so complicated to do at a networking function with like 30 people around you, right? So I think if you go into it with the mindset that I'm just here to meet new people and to be curious, to learn more about them, when you take their business card and you reach out to them to meet with them, in the next week or so, make sure you message them within 48 hours though. What you're doing is you're getting a one-on-one moment with somebody, because most people are going to say yes, right? Like most people are going to be open to that. And so if you are an introverted person or a shy person, that one-on-one will be very easy to manage, because now you hopefully have chosen the location. So maybe you're going to Java Moose or Rogue or wherever you are. And you're going to sit down and you're going to have an agenda. And your agenda is, I want to know a little bit more about them, but I want to be able to interject a little bit about me. And the cool thing is when somebody's one-on-one with you, they're going to ask you questions about yourself, but it'll be less pressure and less stress because there's less noise around you. You can own that space a little bit more.
Nice. Good answer. Good answer. This is why I had you on. You're so smart. That's awesome. Okay, so let's see who else we got here. Hold on. So Gavin says, not a problem of mine, but I love this question. Let's see. Oops, take that off. So Whitley also said, you are your brand, put yourself out there and let growth happen. Absolutely.
Yes.
She's sorry. She says, yes. When I do it, repeat your affirmations. This one too. Repeat your affirmations as well. If you need a boost of confidence.
Absolutely.
That's good advice too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have any last tips you want to share with the group?
You know what? I'd say I have a challenge. I would say, in the next 30 days, there is a ridiculous amount of events happening in the greater St. John area. And, if you have any, viewers that are from other areas, there's always an event going on. I challenge you to go to an event with your 3 people in mind. And if you can see the guest list, do your research before, get really, specific, hone in on that, on that white light and say, okay, here's my goal. My goal is to meet 3 people, these 3 key people, and just go out and connect with people, be curious, get their business card, make sure you send them an email. And it's like a quick email, like, hey, Haley, I met you at the Ladies of Influence Networking Mixer. It was so great getting to know or learning about you. Really loved what you said about blah, blah, blah. I have some coffee dates available next week. Which one of them work for you? Coffee's on me. And like 99.9% of the time, they're going to say yes. So I challenge you to do that. Go to one meeting in the next 30 days, anywhere that you are, meet 3 people, sit down with them for coffee. And I promise you, you'll feel confident, you'll grow, and your business will grow.
I love that challenge. That reminds me, one of the, how everybody does these New Year's resolutions and all that stuff.
Yes.
One of mine this year was to start going to 2 networking type events a month.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's my goal this year. So I will definitely take you up on your challenge.
Awesome.
Is there anybody else in the group who is going to take Carrie Ann up on that challenge?
They all should. I'm shooting on you. I'm sorry, guys. I should not should on people.
They will. Do it.
Do it.
I'm very bossy for the people who normally watch the show. I'm like, okay, you need to do this and this and this. So, okay. I will say one more thing. I'm so grateful to have Carrie Ann here. And so I wanted Carrie Ann to share with you what she's doing and if there's any opportunities for you guys maybe to partner with Carrie Ann with her. So maybe I'll let you, Carrie Ann, share any opportunities that you want to share with the group. If they want to get to know you better, work with you, powwow.
Absolutely. So anybody who's viewing this, whether they're doing it live or through the replay, I like coffee dates. Coffee's always on me. So if you want to pick my brain, if you want to sit down and learn a little bit more about what I do or tell me more about what you do, I'll make sure I put a link in the comment section for you to book that meeting with me. And I guess my big thing would be is I have Be the Balance retreat that comes up in October. I still have room for 2 more speakers. So if you feel the light inside you and you're really excited to speak, send me a private message and I'll show you how to apply. And if you're a female or a really, really awesome guy and you want to come to the event, October 27th, 2019, it'll be at the Trading Convention Center this year because we have outgrown Lily Lake. But thank you so much, Haley. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, everyone, that's it for tonight. Marketing Tip Monday. We're trying to keep it a little quick for you. So hopefully you guys got something out of it. If you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. And I will be posting next week's event right after this. And it's an exciting week because it's Facebook's birthday next week. So I'm going to be jumping on with my partner over at the Handled Club. And we are going to be talking about how to not be salesy on Facebook.
Oh my gosh, I just love you.
I don't like to be salesy. And I actually, over in the DIY marketing group, which I know a lot of people are watching from, I had done a poll not too long ago. And one of the biggest things that people said that they wanted me to talk about was how not to be so salesy. Like how to make sales but not appear salesy. I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't want that.
No.
So, okay, so that's coming up next week. Check the link that Perry Ann's going to put in if you want to book with her and have coffee. I might have coffee with her.
You should.
I will. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Terry Ann.
Thank you. See you later.
Yeah.